last time this thing's seen the road? How many decades has it been since this thing has been on the road, let alone the freeway at 65 miles an hour? I think that's on the same plane. Welcome back, guys. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. The only turkey I'm going to be working on today is that turkey right behind me. Trying to get a couple things done here on this thing this morning, while I got time anyway. Working on the wiper motor assembly for this thing. When I got that used AC kit from our buddy Larry, included in that box was one of these Newport Engineering wiper motor assemblies, but it just had a normal bracket on it. I don't know what it was for. There's no part number or nothing on it. And I actually reached out to this company, sent them an email and said, I have one of your wiper motors. I'm wondering if I can buy just the bracket and everything for my truck. And never heard back from them, of course. So I decided to make my own. So what I did was I went ahead and chopped up the original vacuum housing here. And I'm just making it kind of resemble how it bolts up, if you will. And I cut the original arm and everything and mechanism off of the original wiper motor as well, just drilled a hole through it, and we're going to be able to bolt it right onto that motor. So I'm hoping this all works out. I guess we'll find out. If you notice, do you see it? Check it out. All right, we got glass. New windshield, new seal, and new back glass and new seal as well. So that turned out to be the most expensive windshield I've ever replaced. Huge shout out to D at Shaka Auto Glass. He was a huge help with me on this thing. So I ordered a windshield for this, and when he came to install it, it did not fit for beans. There was two issues with it. As far as dimensionally, it was way out of whack, and then also the curvature on the passenger side was way off. So we had the thing basically installed, had it all set, but the seal was not laying flat up against the cab on the passenger side. So we fought that thing for a while trying to get that thing installed, and he actually did some grinding around the edges to try to get it to fit a little better. Anyway, abandoned that whole deal. He ended up getting a piece of glass, this glass, from one of his suppliers to try it, and we fitted up in the opening with no rubber, and it fit much better, but dimensionally it was a little bit too big. And D actually took a tape measure to the opening, the window opening, and it was 1/4 inch less on the passenger side than it was the driver's side. So he had to do some pretty serious sanding on the edges of the glass just to get it all to fit properly. But after a few hours of that, he went ahead and popped that thing in, and it slid right in, no problem. The curvature was perfect. So again, huge shout out to D. Thank you very much for your help with this. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate your patience as well. He had to come back once to finish it, and it was a huge headache, but typical old truck problems and aftermarket parts, but it worked out. So you're gonna see things moving along here pretty darn quickly. So apparently my wife thinks that I've been really lazy on this project and it's taking entirely too long to finish it. So she went ahead and signed me up for a Christmas parade in another city 100 miles away. So I have basically a week to get this thing roadworthy enough to drive this thing up north. Hopefully it'll survive. And yeah, so that's where I'm at with this thing. So you're gonna see me moving along really quickly with this thing. It's not gonna be 100% complete for this. I just need to get it to where it's roadworthy and I can trust the thing to drive up there. I think we're gonna be okay. I did go down and get my registration and plates, so it is insured and plated and registered and ready to go. There is a chance of rain up there, so that's one reason I'm trying to thrash on these wipers and figure something out with the wipers and get those installed. But let's get back to that. We'll talk about the rest of it later. So my wife doesn't really think that, by the way. I'm just kidding, but actually I think it was kind of more my idea than her idea. More of just a push to get the thing done, or at least get it to where I could drive it around. My biggest concern is just making sure that I just need to get some miles on the thing, and that's why I'm trying to hurry up and just get it to where I can drive it. I'm hoping to drive it to work next week, a couple days at least, and I just need to put miles on it to get the computer to learn, because that new ECM has no runtime on it. So I'm just using some flat strap here and just bending up some simple tabs to connect to this thing. Pretty straightforward for the most part. I think we're going to be okay. So I just need that to fit up to that bracket like that. But I think we're going to be all right like that. And I'll trim this thing way down. Great. I'll never find that again now. I'm glad my hands are cold because they're numb and I don't feel how hot this bracket is. All right, now those will be my mounting points right there. And then this is the original one. So now those all match perfectly, the mounting points and then where the axle was. Okay, that'll work. Take that, that. Let's see, how did I have this? I already forgot. This goes like this. I'm just gonna do all this finger tight just to get it mocked up. So now this arm will be on the bottom, the driver's side's up on the top. So, okay, let me go get the arm and everything and put it on there. Okay, now this arm goes up top. And this arm goes on the bottom. All right, I mean, that's essentially where it was originally. All right, let me pull this thing back out and I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna weld it and then we'll figure out the timing of it, if you will. We'll see where we're at with that. So. All right, guys, I got this thing in, wired up. I got the switch installed up there. Looks okay for just a cheapy aftermarket. So now I just got to figure out this adjustment here as far as where I need to place this. I'm not sure where it needs to go park, if it's straight out like this or if it's vertically, I don't know. I have to figure all that out. And I can't remember when I took all this stuff apart. Okay, there's low. Looks like everything's working. There's high. And it goes back to park, so that's working. So that's park, so that's straight out. Okay, right now it's straight out. I did buy some aftermarket cheapy arms here, so hopefully these things are... Oh, this is the wrong size. No, it's not. It's good. Yep, no, we're good. These things are floppy though. I don't like the way they fit. I don't see any other way they snap in there. It's like spring loaded and the arm like pivots in there, but that's it. I don't know. Anyway. I kind of want to put some cardboard on it. I guess it doesn't matter. My windshield has to get used eventually anyway. But let's see what this does. Oh, it's slipping. Okay. It's trying to work. The arm is slipping on the gearbox, which I had a feeling it was going to do. All right, yeah, that center stud. Okay, so that gearbox actually had a broken bolt where the that arm bolts onto it. I had to drill that thing out, tap it out, and I put in a stud. But what it's doing is it's spinning That stud, I think, came loose and it's spinning inside of there. So I'm gonna have to pull that center stud out and Loctite it. I may even have to just JB weld it. It's all cobbled together anyway. I'm making old junk, use junk work, so for this deal. All right, I'll figure this stuff out later. I'm gonna get under there and do that arm real quick, do that stud, and I'm gonna go to Thanksgiving dinner, and then I'll probably come back out and get right back to work again. So, all right, I'll see you after a little bit. Okay, guys, check this out. Oh man, this was a project, but some of you guys mentioned about making this thing tilt, and rightfully so. So I came up with a plan. It was just, this thing is just too unruly to lift in and out of here. It's so heavy. So now, I've got it to where it lifts up like this. I've got great access. I don't have to take this dang thing out of the truck now. I'll figure out a prop rod or something, or maybe some little gas struts or something. I don't know. I'll do that later. I just don't have time to mess with it. I did have to modify the front half of it, the cover a little bit to clear the steering wheel. But aside from that, it is much better. So, yeah. Definitely a headache, but well worth the effort. So I just made a simple bracket here. I just tack welded it right onto the cab. I don't care about the paint on the outside. So, and the holes that I drilled in these brackets, I drilled them really oversized so this thing will kind of float around a little bit. That's what I wanted it to do. So I just have a riv nut in here on the cover itself. And then I'm just gonna use one of these bolts. It's a little bit long. And so now I just run this bolt in and that thing rides on the shoulder. I thought about notching this too. I could notch it so I can just drop it right down into it. That would be fine too. And then up here I had to do a little bit of floor modification to kind of so that thing will seal, because I had to shove this thing back whatever 1.5 inches here. And then the floor in there, I moved it back. I just welded in a piece of flat strap and moved it back. So now it's real close to the AC compressor, but I still have plenty of room to get a belt out if needed. Yeah, I was out here last night trying to devise a plan with that, and I ended up taking the steering apart because when I was lifting it up, it was hitting the steering wheel. I tried another set of hinges. These were off the back panel of the motorhome, and I tried to use these, but they wouldn't work because it was lifting the cover up and away from the back of the cab, and I couldn't do that because I needed that cover to stay right up against the back of the cab because of the steering wheel. Another thing I had to do is I had to do the oil fill, the motorhome oil fill. The tube was really long and it went to the front. So I had to spin it around and then shorten it up and welded the tube back together again. Got that all done. I just got it mounted up here to the bracket. So real simple there. Same thing with the oil dipstick tube. I had to spin that thing around and shorten it and bring it up to here. So this is all done and mounted to the head, and then the transmission as well. I had to shorten that. And when I had the pan off last time, I went ahead and shortened the dipstick tube so I knew exactly where to go with it and all that. So that's ready to go as well. All right, so remember the wipers when I mounted the motor up and everything and I was gonna mess with that? Well, guess what? So when you turn the wipers off, when it would go to park, they were parking in the up position. So I was like, oh no. I thought maybe you could like reverse the polarity or something like that. Anyway, I realized, crap, I mounted the motor backwards. So I got back up in here and made these brackets right here because the motor, since I had to spin it 180 degrees, I had to move the motor away to keep all the rods and everything in alignment. So now it's working properly and it's nice and smooth. It really doesn't move around. I mean, there's no wiper blades hooked up yet, but it's nice and smooth. I need to build a bracket though from here just to give it a little bit of extra support, of course. I'll do that later. But it's all working. And tech tip, check this out. So when you're working on your blade arms and you're not sure positioning, instead of putting those things on, grab yourself a zip tie. Just put a zip tie around it and get it in the position you want. And then you know exactly where it's gonna go. So a little Wally's working tech tip for you. You can send payments to P.O. Box. Just kidding. All right, let's put this arm on and let's test this thing again. I've probably tested this thing 50 times, so not exactly, but let's see how that works. Goodbye, unscratched windshield. Ooh, those are too tall. It's hitting the rubber up there, just barely, but it's working. Doesn't seem like it wants to park right for some reason. I don't know why. It's kind of, I don't know if it's in the switch here or what. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and push this thing on and lock it on there. I'm going to call it good. I'm just getting a lot of little stuff checked off the list here. I made myself a list and I said, okay, you need to start banging this stuff out. So that's what I've been doing. I also ordered an alternator for this thing as well. This is a one-wire high amperage. I think it's 160 amp, 140 amp, something like that. So I just got to swap the pulley over. This alternator does work, it does charge, but the case is cracked right here, it's broken. And that thing just being a stock alternator, I think it's probably only putting out like 90 amps, and with those dual electric fans, I want to make sure I have the amperage. In case you're curious what it's like working on this thing, it's not too bad. Once you get the doghouse out of the way, it's actually kind of nice. There's a couple things, you know, spark plugs and that type of thing, those do kind of suck to get to. It's a little tight down there, but it's not the end of the world. This bolt is a little bit tight, but I'm really hoping I don't have to do much under this thing. You know, with this throttle body, once they're dialed in, they're really reliable. So I'm hoping, yeah, I'm just hoping for the best. Give this thing all the tension. Oh, I hope this reaches. Ooh, barely. This thing's in a little bit different position. Put the boot on, that's good to go. All right, let's fire this thing up. This poor thing, I keep disconnecting the battery all the time, either to weld on it or whatever I'm doing, so the poor computer. Charging. Okie dokie, Smokey. Yeah, every time I disconnect this battery and I go to fire it back up again, it always runs like crap when it first fires up for a little bit, and then it calms down and settles in, but I just think I keep throwing the dang ECM off. I'm getting ready to insulate the doghouse here, and previously I said I was going to get some 1-inch insulation, but unfortunately when I went to order it, it wasn't available any longer. So what I got was this, it's a foil backed with a foam and all that, and it's self-adhesive. You just peel it off and stick it. It said it was 3/8, but this is definitely not 3/8. It's more like 1/4 inch, but this will be good enough, I think. I think this will be just fine. We're gonna give it a shot and we'll see what happens with it. Worst case scenario, it falls off and I have to redo it later. So yeah, this will be okay. It's not too bad. Doesn't cut great, but whatever. I'm sure this is going to be ugly, but oh well. Yeah, it feels like it's going to stick just fine, so I'm just going to work on this and get this thing covered up. I won't bore you with it, and then I'll go ahead and do the outside with the other sound deadener stuff that I have. All right, guys, I got the seal on the doghouse itself here. This stuff here is like an expandable foam. It's 1 inch wide, so it says it conforms, you know, to different uneven surfaces and whatnot. So we'll see how this works out. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot. It sticks really, really well. And I also went ahead and just put some of this kill mat up here on the top. I don't think I want to do here and all that because of the seats. I really don't want to mess with the seat mounting. And then right in here, I don't need it. I'm not worried about the vertical surfaces, just mainly this one up here. All right, I'm gonna get the carpet and kind of see how bad I can screw that up. All right, so this stuff I got here is just like, it's a marine grade is what they say it is, but it's got a nice pattern on it and it kind of looks like a rubber mat. So, I don't know, it's self-adhesive, we'll give it a shot. Now I have no clue how to do this properly, so I'm gonna try to get it as centered as I can and just basically let it overhang and we'll cut it and go from there. I don't know. I would like to be able to just roll it over the front and cut it and then roll it down the edge. Oh, see, it's gonna be short right there. That's short. What about this one? Oh man, this is gonna be almost not wide enough. 34.5. All right, 17.25 is my middle. So this is 8.5. So that is dead center there. I'm just gonna have to pull this front edge, I guess, and stick it and run with it, I guess. No guts, no glory. I don't know. Okay, stick's nice. Now I gotta cut this corner in. Seriously. It just tears when it freaking cuts. I don't know how to cut this. Because this has to roll like this. All right, don't make fun of me too much. I am not an upholsterer. I don't know, it turned out fine. I turned the camera off. I was starting to get frustrated when I started laying it out and I had to just calm down, take a deep breath, turn the camera off because I get all flustered when the camera's on. I don't know, hopefully the light's not too bad, but yeah, some of the corners here aren't great. I had to match them up right here. And then there's a seam right here, all down here. That seam I had to compensate for the taper because this whole thing tapers in, you know. So yeah, the carpet wasn't long enough back here. But I don't know, it looks fine. It's not great. That's just from I flipped it over and I rubbed it on the table just a tiny bit and it already wore it off. So I don't know how durable this stuff's gonna be, but for now, it'll be all right. Oh boy. I think I've got everything under the hood taken care of. Under the doghouse, I should say. Man, I hope so. There we go. Let me put the pivot bolts in first. Oh man, I'm so tired of lifting this thing in and out of the truck. I've probably said it before, but I forgot this corner bolt needs to be short because it interferes with the hinge bolt. There's an intersection problem. All the way up. Yep, we're good. Okay. There we go. Okay, that looks good. She is one with the floor again. Yeah, you can really see that seal, all the difference. It's a little tight down there and just, you know, all the indiscrepancies in the floor. It's gonna look nice with the wood floor in here once I get that done as well. right, I think everything underneath looks pretty good. Got plenty of room around the air filter. It's actually probably a good idea I didn't put a 1-inch on there. That looks fine. I had to modify the air filter snorkel. I welded the snorkel on right here and I had to notch it because of this. I forgot about this on the cover. So I just made another opening over there. Looks like that seal on the backside there in the corners looks good. It's sealing up there really good. Whew, all right, I'm wore out. So yeah, that air filter is just temporary, so we'll deal with that later. When I do the snorkel, that'll eliminate all that. So that's just for this weekend. All right, guys, a little progress. I think that's it for the seat. I think we are mounted. Everything looks pretty good. And I got the back wall covered. For the most part, I just got to finish this side real quick and I can throw the passenger seat in. Actually, I'll probably leave the passenger seat out because I still got a little bit of electrical to do. I got to put the glove box back in, that type of stuff. So I still need to kind of crawl up under there and it's just much easier without the seat. All right, I'm going to keep plugging away. It's getting late, but I'm just going to keep working until it gets dark, I think. I got to throw the rear shocks on this thing and odds and ends and whatever. Damn, I love this tool. All right, guys, we are doing mud flaps this morning. And I'm just making up a couple brackets that are going to weld to the bed. So I figured I would knock out the holes now while it was easy. Normally I would forget and I would do it on the truck, but not today. All right, what we're using is just some thick rubber standard issue mud flaps. And then this is 3-inch quarter. I had a whole bunch of this left over, so I just used this. And then these will just bolt right up. Super simple. I actually found a company online that will make mud flaps for you in whatever, printing you want, whatever logo or that type of thing. I'm going to have some made eventually. I just didn't have time for this weekend, for this trip, but usually takes them about 4 weeks or so to get them made. So I'm going to probably do something, maybe good enough. I won't put Wally's working on it, but probably just good enough on it or something. And I don't know, something like that. I think it'd be cool to do. Here we go. Wonder if this would be easier with the bed up. The answer is yes. Square enough. Okay guys, I made a quick notch in the mud flap there. I'm gonna try that, see how that works. Yeah, that'll be all right. I'm sure it'll tear that mud flap up over time, but that's okay. For right now, for today's purposes, that'll be just fine. All right, now she looks like a real farm truck. Much better. The only thing those things need are some big old chrome sitting ladies. All right, guys, there it is. All mounted up. That's gonna be fine. Should be just low enough. I don't think cops will give me a hard time. If they give me a hard time, I'll deal with it later. I'm just trying to keep out of the view of flock cameras. All right, I'm happy with that. I think that's it. I'm gonna have the wife come out here real quick, and I just need to do a quick bleed on these brakes. And then I can load that lumber up. We're gonna go down to Barry's and weld up this hitch plate. And he said he'd help me do the wood deck real quick. I'm just gonna throw it on real quick. Just raw wood, and then I will deal with the rest of it later. All right, let me finish this up and we'll get on the road. All right, boys. Brakes are bled. I got the wood loaded on the deck. I've gone through everything and checked everything out. I think we're good. Completely untested. We're just gonna throw this thing right on I-17 going south on the freeway and see what happens. First stop though, we gotta put some fuel in it. I had to go and get 5 gallons. I dumped 5 gallons in it, but we'll stop and put more in it. But I got all the stuff I think I need loaded up here, and nothing else to do but get after it. I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. We're just gonna go from driving this thing around the neighborhood to right on the freeway. I told him, I says, you're on standby with a tow strap, so. Oh man, I'm nervous. Scared to death, not gonna lie. Out on the big road. I'm going through everything in my head, the steering, the brakes, everything, man. All right, that camera angle's not gonna work. All right, I'm gonna stop here in a minute for gas. I'll fix it. Here we go. We're getting on the freeway right now. Everybody's looking at me like I'm an alien. Nobody sees these things on the road. Woo, here we go, boys. I'm so nervous. Shifting good? Doing it. I don't trust the Speedo. $63. It's actually pretty close. It rides way better with that lumber on the back. See if we can get her to 65. I think the toe needs to be set. The steering feels like it's a little light. Like it kind of wants to wander a little. Okay, there's 65. Yeah, I think Speedo's actually right. Temp is good, oil's good, bolts are good. It feels good. It's pretty quiet. There's not a lot of wind in here. It doesn't sound like it's RPMing either real bad. Oh man, I got butterflies so bad. I mean, who knows the last time this thing's seen the road? How many decades has it been since this thing has been on the road? Let alone the freeway at 65 miles an hour. Can't stop smiling. Temperature's perfect, oil's perfect. These cheesy little mirrors aren't too bad. Come on, get on the gas. Okay. It's not loud at all. It is quiet in here. We made her, boys. We're at Crocker Trailer. Now I get to put Barry to work. Hello to you too, sir. Is that thing even legal width? Good Lord. Oh, he's gonna hit my truck. All right, guys, we got her. We got a flatbed. All right, turned out pretty decent. I gotta go home and finish screwing it down. I just wanted to be done for now, so we just have it done on the ends and then a strip in the middle. But we're good to go. Looks pretty good. And then I'll figure out what I'm gonna do as far as the staining of it. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do there. I might do that burned look with the torch or something. I don't know. Give it a little age. We'll see what happens. Big shout out to Barry. Thanks, Barry.
That's what I do.
Who are you? What do you do here?
It's a Crocker manufacturer. We custom build trailers. All kinds of trailers, any type of trailer you need. We are the guy. If you can't find it, we're the ones that come to you to build it. And we do a lot of them. So get in line quick.
What's your phone number?
602-694-8500. Give us a call.
Sweet. All right. Once again, big shout out to him. All right, I'm gonna get this train home, and it's Sunday. I gotta go to work tomorrow, so we're gonna park this thing in the backyard. We'll be back at it tomorrow after work. All right, guys, welcome back. It's Monday after work. Obviously, the truck made it back here, no problems. Yeah, man, I'm pretty happy. That thing cruises really, really nice. And we got a couple things that we just need to work out alignment-wise and whatnot. The brakes are squeaky too. Once they get a little bit of heat in them, they kind of squeak and whatnot. I did get some brake pads for it. I got to get some steps made for this thing. So I've got the old ones as templates. And then I just got a chunk of diamond plate here from Barry, and I'm just gonna cut it out of here real quick. But you'll have to wait till next week to see that, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish this video off. And before I end it, I forgot to mention the speedometer and the issues that I had. All right, so if you look up underneath the dash there, that's the solution. All right, so if you remember, I was having a problem with the new gauges communicating with the computer in the truck. So what I had to do is I had to take the motorhome cluster and I had to mount that thing underneath the dash. So in 1991, it was like a 1 year only with GM. This truck has a DRAC module in it, which is the digital ratio adapter calculator or something like that. It's a magical box that basically converts the signal from the speed sensor on the transmission from AC to DC, so the computer understands it. So basically what the DRAC module does is it just takes that signal and it divvies it up between the ECM, the speedometer, or if I had cruise control or anti-lock brakes, so everything knows what's going on with the truck. It's just an early version of wheel speed sensors, that type of thing. I did reach out to the gauge company. I contacted them, told them what was going on. They said, yeah, with 1991, it was a 1 year only deal. What they did was GM put another computer chip in the gauge cluster itself. It's kind of like the Ford's PSOM setup, you know, the computer circuit board that's behind the speedometer. I had the same problem with my F-150, kind of the same thing. So they basically do not have a workaround for that. I have to leave the original speed cluster plugged in, and I can piggyback off of that signal to power the gauge. And that's what I'm doing currently right now. So basically what I did was I took that motorhome cluster and I gutted everything out of it that I didn't need. So the only thing in there is the speedometer and that computer chip, and I think I did leave the volt gauge in there. But what I'm gonna do later is I'm gonna pull all that stuff back out and I'm gonna cut all of that circuit board and everything away from that chip, and I know where everything goes, what terminal goes where, and I'm basically gonna solder wires directly onto that thing. So we're basically just going to trick the computer to think that it's, you know, got a speedometer and the same setup is what I'm going to do. But I'll do that later. So I'll reduce that whole thing down to, you know, probably about that big. So kind of a headache. I was not expecting to do that with this setup, but it is what it is. Another thing I need to do is I need to get this thing out and do an auto calibrate on the speedometer. So when they ship these speedometers out, they set them at 16,000 pulses per mile. These GM DRAC modules, they only put out 4,400 pulses per mile. So I went in there and did a manual calibration on it, and that's what I set it at, was 4,400. And the speedometer was actually really accurate, as you recall, when I was going down the freeway. It was reading right on 65. But the digital part of it was way off. So what I got to do is do an auto calibrate on it, but I have to go out somewhere where there's a mile. I can do a measured mile and let it auto calculate that way. All right, well, that's a whole lot of blabbing to tell you that the Speedo's working for now, but we got to make some changes. Okay, the big announcement. This coming Saturday, which is December 6th, I will be in Prescott, Arizona with the cabover. So if you want to come see it in person, you can see it there. We are entered into the Prescott Christmas Parade. I will be up there in staging at approximately around 11 a.m., 10 or 11 a.m. I think is when they want us up there. So if you want to come see the truck in staging early, it'll be in staging on Cortez Street, which is really close to downtown Prescott. So if you're in and around Arizona and you want to come up and see the truck in person, come on up, check out the parade. Then they're also doing the downtown Prescott, the town hall lighting ceremony as well that evening. So it should be a pretty fun event for everyone. So today's Monday, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to get this thing done or not, so I didn't say anything earlier in the video. I've been busting my tail on this thing for the last 5 days straight for my Thanksgiving break, and just trying to get this thing to where we can make it up the hill to get up there. So far, I think we're looking really good. After yesterday's little trip down to Barry's, I'm feeling much more confident about everything, and I think we're going to be just fine going up there. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you right here. So I do appreciate the support as always. And again, if you want to come see us, December 6th, Prescott, Arizona. All right, get out there. Go work on your projects. You too can be out there driving your stuff around. Just get out there and do something every day. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.